Why would anybody want to be a good public speaker? One of the first reasons is it advances your career. I know myself, I never really thought of myself as a public speaker, but just by becoming a better public speaker, practicing, doing things like Toastmasters, other public speaking groups, as I become a better speaker, windows opened to me that I didn't really have access to. I got better jobs, made more money by becoming a better public speaker. Public speaking will advance your career faster than anything. And one of the reasons I learned this actually was back in college. So I'll take you back to undergrad where I majored in computer engineering, right? So as an engineer, we have this thing called a senior design project, a capstone project, right? And I wasn't the smartest kid in the class. I was pretty lazy, right? I had that hacker mentality, waiting the last minute to do things because I figured, hey, I hacked the system, right? So anyway, for my senior design project, I slacked off the entire year. Didn't really do much. Waited the last week to do my project, like my presentation, my write-up, all that stuff, right? But there were these A+ students, these A students, you know, all those kids that make all the good grades in engineering class, right? These kids were busting their butt the whole year, doing the best work. I'm just there slacking, not really doing much, right? But comes to the last day of us capstone class, we had to present a project, right? Me, the person who didn't really do much, ended up doing pretty well compared to other people who did fantastic, but the reason they did badly was because they had bad presentations, right? I recall specifically, right, one time I was walking past class as people were doing presentations, right, because everybody was in the class by themselves, and I saw this kid who was doing a presentation in front of 3 or 4 professors, right? This guy was great. He had been busting his tail the whole year, had an amazing project, but just by seeing the first 10 seconds of his presentation, I knew he bombed the presentation. That's how serious public speaking is, right? So why do I say I knew he bombed the presentation? Because he was nervous, he was moving like this, his hands were in his pockets, in the back of his pockets, moving like this, right? And I was like, doesn't matter if inside your head you know what you're talking about, if you're A+ inside here. What matters is the presentation, right? It's all marketing, man, right? So how do you market yourself during your speech? Do you seem confident? Do you stand with your feet wide apart, right? Do you talk like you know what you're talking about? Or do you go inside your shell, get nervous, right? And don't really know what to say, right? Because the way you start is the way you finish. That was something I learned very quickly when it comes to public speaking, right? And body language is everything. I'll cover this later, right? But just by seeing this guy's body language, I knew he bombed it, right? So then I go in there, right? And I don't really know what I'm talking about at all. But I go in there and I kill it. I crushed the presentation, right? Not because I knew what I was talking about, but because I knew public speaking and I had a great skill from practicing public speaking. To a point that one of my professors came to me and said, Ian, do you know what? The whole year you didn't really have that great of a senior design project. As a matter of fact, it was pretty mediocre. But you had the best presentation. And you should go to sales, right? And from there, I kind of learned, hey, you know what? I'm really good at selling things and selling myself, right? Which is kind of a byproduct of becoming a great public speaker, to a point that now I ended up becoming a sales engineer, ended up becoming a client-facing consultant for companies like Deloitte, worked for sales at IBM, right? And now I'm making 6 figures off the skill set that I learned, right? So public speaking, refining the skill, can open up windows and advance your career. The second reason public speaking is great is public speaking helps you with networking and business, right? So the reason I learned public speaking was I was an entrepreneur and I had to sell my business. I had to pitch to investors, from angel investors to venture capitalists, right? Trying to sell them on my idea. I went and did different pitch competitions, talking on panels, pitching my idea, right? I had to learn to sell my idea, right? As a result, it was like sink or swim. Learn to speak publicly, get over this fear, or never really go anywhere or take my company anywhere, right? So I went out there, right, and repetition, right? It was a straight numbers game. As a result, I was able to meet a lot more people, make a lot more connections, right? This is why public speaking is very vital and why lots of entrepreneurs and business people love public speaking. Public speaking helps with self-promotion. Everybody sells themselves. Doesn't matter whether you're in sales or not in sales. Doesn't matter whether you're an engineer, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer. Everybody has to sell themselves at some point in life, right? Doesn't matter what business you're in, you are selling yourself. If you're going out there for a job interview, guess what? You're selling yourself. If you're going out there trying to raise capital, guess what? You're selling yourself, right? All the time, you have to go out there and show the value in yourself, appear confident, and get people to buy into you as a person. So it doesn't matter what kind of line of work you're in, public speaking will make you a better presenter by learning to sell yourself, which leads to making more money.